was to feed the swine. Look at this boy. Had everything at his daddy's house. Got beside himself. Found himself hooked up with a citizen of that country. And notice what they told him. You go out and feed the swine. You can't hook up with everybody. That's why some relationships are all messed up. He looked good. He got curly hair. He tall, dark, and handsome. That husband wasn't no good then, and he ain't no good now. You can't hook up with everybody and just anybody. I don't care if she got long silk hair, ruby red lipstick, shaped like a Coca-Cola bottle. If she low down, she still gonna be low down. You can't hook up with everybody. Just cause they in the church, you can't hook up with everybody in the church. Some folk they saved, but they still holding on to some stuff. Some folk just mean, even though they in the church. Some folk just don't have attitudes, even though they in the church. So don't hook up with mean folk. You just pray for them. He would have filled his belly with the husk that the swine ate. Notice what the text says. No man would give him. Y'all seeing that? That's how people are. Long as you got a car, you got some friends. Long as you buying all the bill, how y'all doing? They gonna keep on hanging around. Long as you got some money, they gonna love you. But let the money get funny. They gonna run off and leave you by yourself. Let the clock hang up and see who gonna come by and pick you up. That's just how they are. You got to learn I'm not dependent on folks. I'm not dependent on people. I'm solely dependent on God. This boy, known as the prodigal son, got beside himself. His wayward attitude brought him a whole lot of trouble. His wayward attitude caused him to be homeless. And before I condemn the prodigal son, I still see a lot of homeless folks. I don't have to go to Atlanta to find a homeless folks. I don't have to go down in the projects to find a homeless folks. But I find them still sitting around in the church. I know they're homeless because even though they're in the church, they still don't have any peace. I know they're homeless because even though they're in the church, they still don't have any joy. I told y'all a home is a Reverend, what do you mean they're homeless? When I found out that the Lord himself found himself homeless, when I heard the Lord say, the birds of the air, they have a nest, foxes have holes, but the Son of Man had nowhere to lay his head. Here he is, the prodigal son, find himself homeless. But the Bible said that he came to himself. Y'all don't hear me. I wish I had somebody who could testify that they came to themselves. You remember when you were out there drinking and partying all night long, you ought to say, I came to myself. Somebody was drug addict out there in a mean world. You ought to be able to say today, I came to myself. Somebody was in a abusive relationship. You got tired of being beaten and being battered. You ought to say, I came to myself. I know you came to yourself, but the first thing you did, made up in your mind, I'm going back home. I'm going back to the house of God. I'm going to give some preacher my hand. I'm going to give God my heart. Lean over, tell your neighbor, say neighbor, I'm glad to be home. The text said this boy came to himself, and I heard him say, how many hired servants do my father have? Bread enough to spare to me, and here I am perishing with hunger. I will arise and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and I'm no more worthy to be called a son, but make me as one of your higher servants. Somebody going through something, you need to get up on your feet and make your way back to God. Have I got anybody that's standing in need of a blessing today? Get on your feet and wave your hand and tell somebody, I'm glad to be home. I'm on my way back to the Lord. Yes, I am. Good boy, he arose up. The Bible said he began to come to his father. Yes, he did. But one thing I know that I sure don't believe, this boy had a praying daddy. Yes, he did. But every day, the same man would walk out, look over the horizon, waiting on his son to come home. Yes, he would. I can see this man in my spiritual eye. I'm calling on God, saying, Father, if you will, take care of my child. I've got any parents that to pray for their children who can identify with this man. I can hear this man. Oh my God, if you will, bring my son home. Yes, he did. Every day he kept going out looking for the son. You ought to expect an answer from the Lord when you pray. Lord, don't hear me. Yeah, you should. One day, as he walked out, he saw somebody coming over the horizon. When he looked at him, I could hear him say, that boy there, that's my boy. He walked like me. You want to look like a child of God. Break up from Zion. Somebody out there going through something. You still want to look like a child of God. Somebody got trouble on every hand. You still want to say, I'm so glad trouble gone. That's all the way. Break up from Zion. Somebody out there today, no money has gotten funny, but you want to lean over. Tell somebody the God I serve. I had somebody who don't feel good. You may not feel your very best, but you want to know you got a doctor, never lost her case. I can see this boy coming home, and I see his dad looking at him. All of a sudden, his daddy took off running. Yes, he did. Ran over, grabbed his son, put his arm around him. He hugged his son hugged him. I heard him say, "Come on, servant, I need you to go get me the fatted calf. I need